Perfect.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Say what? In the midst of COVID, they've dropped not just one, but two gaming platforms. The PS5 and the Xbox X series is out. How do y'all feel about this, man?
Man, let me tell you. Um, I'm trying to get the PS5, right? But Walmart keeps crashing every 5 minutes, first of all. Second of all, I'm gonna just wait a few months. I'm gonna just wait a few months to get the new consoles because I know it's gonna be pretty hectic, especially since it's the holidays right now and people are scratching and clawing for those consoles for their kids and stuff. But yeah, in terms of the video games though, I got Cold War and I got Miles Morales. Let me tell you, that game is phenomenal. It's better than the first game.
Yeah, you're just trying to make us cry over here, huh? That's all you're doing. You're just trying to make my life is already messed up the way it is. You're just trying to make it worse by telling me all this good. Caleb, what about you? I don't want to listen to this guy.
Hey man, I'm trying to get the game, dude. Like I see a lot of people are like, oh, we're acting like kids. I am acting like a kid. I haven't got a video game release since like. I can't even remember when the last time the PS4 came out. I'm so excited for just getting the video game. I have to touch it. Like Million said, Walmart's crashing every 5 minutes. I had it in my cart. It crashed on me. It's not going well. But, I had a talk with my cousin last night. He says, he's going to wait until the PS6 comes out. Million saying he's going to wait a couple months before he touches the PS5. Let me tell you, dude. I will get it before 2020 is out.
This is my direct message to Sony. Sony, there are 3 African-American men who are suffering over here, and we need your support to get our hands on these consoles. So please, hey, DM me.
Please,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of the Black Millennial Podcast, where we bring you love, laughter, and we always keep it 100%. Well, mostly 99, but because you're the 1% that we need to make it complete. So come ride with us, and we're going to take you on our spaceship and drop you back off in 30 minutes. So buckle up. I'm your host, Michael, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Million, aka Young Millie. How you doing, Millie?
Hello. It's very cold. I'm freezing over here, but I'm surviving, so I'm all good.
Yeah, turn on the oven, bro. And Caleb. How you doing, Caleb?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good, feeling great. It's a great day today. I'm doing good.
It's not cold where you are?
Oh, it's cold, but, I got some pajamas on right now. I'm well prepared, really quick.
All right. Those are my co-hosts. I don't know where you are in the world, but as long as you're in here with us for the next 30 minutes, you are in the right spot. All right. So today we're going to be talking about music. Music. You know the la da da dee. Oh, I should become an opera singer. But anyway.
Please don't.
I want to understand the role music has played in your life. Music is every single culture in the world has music. It's the one thing that is common everywhere in the world. There is no community that exists whatsoever without music. And so for you personally, what does music mean to you? What role does music have in your life? I'll start with you, Million.
Personally, I think music is one of them things where it's just like, you can't live without it, like you said, it's a universal thing. I don't think anyone can live without music, no matter what the music is, because music is diverse. It's just generally just diverse. There's no type of music that you can't find, but it's one of them things where it's like, how are you not listening to music every day? It's literally all around you. I don't know how anyone could walk through life without listening to a single note or a single key and stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't know. If there are people in that world, are you okay? Do you need some help? because I don't know. Maybe you need some help. I don't know.
Oh man, what about you, Caleb?
Man, music plays a big role in my life. Going back to what Million said, there are people that don't really utilize music like that, and it's okay. We're all different. We're all put on here to have different perspectives, but it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
are you okay? No, but
I don't think there's anybody who goes a full day without music, even if it's not something voluntary that they do. You know, they don't actively go around seeking for music, but I doubt if in a single day you will go without listening to a song. You know, either from a movie, from an audiobook, from whatever it is out there, music is with us forever.
yeah,
You know?
definitely, that's true. Music is the rhythm of life, or the rhythm.
I'm gonna steal that. I love
Right.
the quote. I'm gonna steal that. Music is the rhythm of life.
It is.
Ah.
It's like a wave, and
hmm
It's
you
kind of
For-
like
for
the
me,
force.
music. You cannot go wrong with music.
True, true.
It's
For
kind of
me
like the force.
personally, I would say music has been a part of my life since I was a kid. I grew up in the orchestra. I played the trombone and tuba for the National Youth Orchestra of my country and the Conservatoire Orchestra as well. And so I grew up with a very classical sense of being, you know, the very old. My friends would say I listen to old music because I would crank up some Beethoven and, you know, just be like, yeah, yeah. But for me, music is about the days when I don't want to get up, you know, the days when I don't feel like seeing anybody, the days when I feel I'm at my lowest. That's when music plays a very integral part of my life, where it's about uplifting, you know, it's about making sure that I'm still alive. As you said, music is the rhythm of life. When that rhythm is gone, is when I need music the most, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely deep. That's deep right there.
And speaking about music that brings back the rhythm of your life, do you guys have any specific songs that, you know, have brought you back to life? I get at all?
Okay, I'll start.
Ooh.
I just really wanted to share this. Marceline by Willow Smith. I love that song. I love Willow Smith. And it's based off my favorite character from one of my favorite animated shows, Adventure Time. Love that show. But yeah, the song is it's very grounded, and it's very, I guess you could say it's a little bit, it gives off a spiritual vibe, and it is kind of like a spiritual song, but I don't know, it's one of them songs where it's like, I listen to while I'm cooking, or I even listen to it while washing the dishes and stuff like that. Like, that's the one song I can play on replay, and it just like, it makes me happy, you know. It gives me it gives me a boost of serotonin, and it's like, I don't know where I would be without that one specific song that I play literally every day of my life.
You play the song Marceline every single day?
I would say every day, yes. I'm exaggerating, but I do play it a lot, though. I do play it a lot, so yeah.
What song is this? I would love to know what song this is.
Marceline by Willow Smith.
Yeah, I will crank up just a tiny bit of it so that the audience, for people like me who've never heard the song, they can know what we're speaking about. I love that sound. It sounds so good. It's a type of song that fills you up, and you can feel it sort of bring you back down to earth. Yeah, I like that. Nice choice. Nice choice.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Caleb?
Well, yeah, you know, music is definitely a mood changer in lives, you know, but it's a song for me, a specific song for me that's like guided me through a tough time. Like, I would say that means a lot to me. It's Dave East, Tell My Mama I Made It. It's called Mama I Made It. But he had dropped his album like November 11th, 2019. I'm a big Dave East fan. So when I heard that song, I was like, oh, this is a pretty good song, you know? Like, me and my mom, she lived in Dominican Republic, and then November 19th, 2019, I lost my mom. So
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Hearing that, thank you. me hearing that song a week before, she left me. After that, it really meant a lot to me. So, that song is a song I don't listen to every day, but when I do listen to it, it's a song that touches me right on the heart every time, every
Oh
time.
man, that's a tough load to bear. But at least you've got the music to carry you through it.
Yeah, that's
And
what.
for our listeners, we're gonna play. Sorry to interrupt you, my friend. You were saying?
No, I said that's what we use music for. At least me. At least me.
Mm-hmm. And for our listeners, I'm gonna play a small snippet of "Mama, I Made It" so that you can also feel what he feels. Hmm. You're in love with rap.
Oh yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
that's my origin. That's my origin right there. That's
Uh,
rap music is heavily influenced on me for sure.
mm,
But as I've gotten older, I've
mhm,
went into more diverse music, and you see how it switches to our culture, to a different
mhm.
culture, and that's what music is really like a cultural thing. But rap is rap is where I'm at for sure.
Nice, nice. For me personally, I would say the lowest point I've ever been at my life is when I was going through depression. I think that was in 2018, and my best friend, who's still my best friend up to date, Samuel, sent me this song. It's a fusion of jazz and Afro beats. It's a very interesting sound. It's called Abusei Junction by a band called Kokoroko. And that song has brought me from the lowest points in my life to where I'm at right now. And just like Million, it's a song I listen to quite often. Anytime I meditate, this song is always on my playlist. Anytime I go to the beach to just sit down and have a glass of wine or something, this song is always playing. And let me just give you a snippet of what it is. It's a 7-minute song. Yeah. And just give a second. YouTube ads at times are really amazing.
Oh my god, those ad times. And then he started
I
adding more
know.
ads. It's like
Hmm.
I don't even know
And
what
here
I'm
we
doing
go.
anymore.
So the song is very similar to what Million um, played earlier on. The first song that he suggested. It's on a similar vein.
Yeah,
It's
I
one of
love it.
those reassuring songs. Yeah.
I love it. I love the like you said, there's a little like Afrobeat undertone. I love that.
Hmm.
Because like my mom, she's a big listener of Afrobeats. So I listen to it all the time. She's basically playing it in the house every 5 minutes. But yeah, Afrobeats is like that is actually another one of the influential like musics in my life,
Hmm.
Afrobeats. And it's so rich with culture. That song right there. I'm gonna after we get off this, I'm gonna listen to it more because I like it.
All
But
right, the song is Abusei Junction.
yeah,
The song is Yes, Abusei Junction by Kokoroko.
got it. Real quick,
All
I'd like
right.
to ask a question. So, Caleb talked about how over time his music choice has kind of like diverged off a bit.
Mhm.
So what like over time, how has your music taste kind of evolved? How have you sort of branched off from one type of music to a whole different genre?
That's a good question. I would like to answer that one. That's a really good question. For me, it was kind of like I wanted to tap into my culture and to other cultures. You know what I'm saying? Like that beat that you played, it's an Afro beat. I like the vibe, the setting. Makes me want to go somewhere and just tap into the culture and really get the experience of the music. Uh,
Mm.
when you talk about places like Mexico, they have their own music, but if you go there and you get the experience, the full circle experience, it's a whole different vibe. You actually feel the music. So like me listening to cultural music, my mom was Puerto Rican and Dominican. So when I listen to to the music that they listen to over there. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I kind of like this. You feel me? I want to learn more about my culture. I want to go there and actually see, like, okay, how they get down to this type of music. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I've used it as like, oh, they listen to this out in Africa. Let me go catch a vibe. Let me see how it is. They listen to this. Okay, let me go catch a vibe. Let me see how it is.
So your music taste is not really limited to a specific genre. It's about what the music makes you feel in general. You know, what culture it represents. You know, what story it tells.
Yeah. How could
I think
you take a ride through what they go through? Because every group represents something different. You know.
I think that's how we should all approach music. At the end of the day, you know, it's not about, oh, I only listen to rap and therefore that's the only lane that I'll stick to. But the question is, how does this music communicate with me based on my life story, based on the things I'm interested in, based on the things I want to achieve in life, you know? Because quite a lot you hear people saying, oh, I don't listen to country music because of this. But then once they hear that one specific country song that speaks to their soul, they'll be like, oh my God, I did not know country music is this good. You know?
Yeah.
And now you've brought a very interesting point about, you know, music building you up in a certain way, you know, accessing these cultures helps you build yourself in some way, not just musically, but as a person. And so my question would be, how has music that you listen to, whatever genre it is, how has it built you as a person? How has it helped you craft your brand? I'll go with Million first.
That's a hard and complex question. How has music built me, or how have I like used it to build myself up? I'd have to say that Jesus Christ, this is a hard question. I'm trying to think. Music in a way, I would say it helped influence me the way I built myself, because it's not just the music I listen to, but the people that make the music, you know. Some of these, like, sometimes you can listen to music, but when you listen to a certain artist, you kind of connect with them. And like, for example, someone like J. Cole, I listen to J. Cole a lot. I sort of started to like, after like a while back, I used to start like my whole personality off of J. Cole. I studied his every move. I was like obsessed with him. I've gotten out of that now and kind of starting to form my own identity. But yeah, when you start to form a relationship, not like a direct relationship, but a relationship with people's music, and those people, you start to kind of use them to mimic certain aspects of their life. And you kind of like, even in songs, you hear like a love story or something like that, you would want to go chase that love story, you know. And it's kind of like music kind of gives you an outline, and you can choose whether or not to follow it, but it does give you an outline of you know, certain things that these people have gone through that you want to sort of experience for yourself, and you want to take that trip, you know. And it's like, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. You gotta have to branch off and decide for yourself whether or not you want to follow that path of the music or what it's talking about, or if you want to, you know, use that music to inspire your own self, your own personality, your own, you know what I mean?
That's a very interesting point that you bring up. And earlier on, when you answering the question, before we go to Caleb, you said that you follow J. Cole and listen to his music, and it got me thinking that you were listening to the songs based on the artist and not the songs themselves as a start, you know. And I think it's not just you. I think a lot of us do that as well, where we listen to songs because there's a certain musician that we identify with. Do you think that there should be that separation? Do you think that we should listen to songs because of the musician or because of the artistry itself? Which is more important at this time?
For me, it depends. Like the J. Cole example, I listen to his music because I like him specifically, and I also like his music. For me, it's not really like a separation. I kind of like I like the music. I like his messages that he goes to in his music, and I like his
Mm.
personality as a whole. That goes for a lot of other people that I listen to. But some people, it's different, honestly. Some people, they just listen to the music and they don't care much about the artist. Some people listen to, some people follow the artist, but their music isn't like that interesting to them. And
True.
that's, I don't know, it's kind of a difference of opinion for some people. I wouldn't say that you have to separate it or you should separate it, but depending on who you are, or even depending on who the artist is, you might want to separate the music from the artist, and why you follow them.
What do you think about that, Caleb? You could start off with just what Million has mentioned right now, and then just backtrack into telling us about how music has helped you build your own personal brand and craft who you are.
Okay. Yeah, well, with the musician and the artistry thing, I think that's a big topic, and I think a lot of people would have like a lot to say about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like some people just don't give certain artists, I want to say, I don't know if it's the right word, but certain artists a chance just because of who they are. You feel me? They'll be like, oh, well, I'm going to go listen to Drake because he dropped tonight, but, rapper A might have had a good album, but and nobody really knows who he is. So we're going to go mess with Drake. And I think we kind of have to, we kind of all listen to music off the musician, and we kind of have to do that sometimes because I know we don't have to do that. I want to say the right word is we're forced to do that because the musician over the years, they all start off with nothing and build credibility. Each and every one of them. Tupac, Drake, they dropped their first mixtape or whatever. And it was like, okay, it's whatever. And now they're on their 20th, and it's going to be fire every time they drop.
That's very true. Mainstream media markets the musician more than the music. And so we are sold the musician as the product, and we have to take in whatever they do as good, either than marketing the product itself, which is the bigger thing. That's a very interesting point. And now that I think,
Yeah, and that goes right back into I feel like it goes right back into your question on how does music build your brand? You know what I'm saying? Music builds everyone's brand. You go back to, for my people out there who listen to Blueface, like he had an opinion about chains. Like why the trend for a minute was to stop buying jewelry, stop buying all these chains. Why are we so icy for it, right? But it's a part of a rapper's image. That's a part of his brand. And each genre is different. R&B, they have a certain image, a certain brand. And that goes back to the artist and the music. Because, it's really the musician, actually, not the artist. It goes back to the musician. So it's definitely all ties in together.
So for you, would you say that the music you listen to has been a significant part of who you are, how you dress, how you talk, how you walk, the kind of lingo that you use? Would you say that your music has been an integral part of that?
Yeah, I would say that it has been a big part. The music that we listen to, and it influences all of us. Again, it's how you look at it, how you use it.
True.
I look at music like, how can I relate to it? You feel me? And there's some, I've been talking to my dad about this. Like, I've heard songs when I was like 13, 14 years old, and I'm singing them, but I couldn't really relate to them. I'm just singing them for to sing them. And now I'm listening to them when I'm 20, those same songs, and I'm like, oh, like, okay, now I know why this shit was cracking. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like watching the old cartoons, a cow and chicken and all those, and now is when you figure out, oh, this cartoon's actually had a lot of stuff going on. That's why my folks didn't let me watch them,
Yeah, I'm like, okay, like this is okay. I get it now. It took me a long time, but I get it now. So it shows like how music, even to understand and to relate to music, you have to go through things in real life to be like, oh, you know what, Mary, or not even Mary J. Blige. You know what, Drake, he go through the same thing I go through. His girlfriend cheated on me Yeah, I mean, his girlfriend cheated on him just
Yeah.
like my girlfriend cheated on me. We both the same. You feel me? So
Mm-hmm.
that's a relating point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
But then speaking of the relation and the identity, because we also have to be careful in that when we say that we follow or listen to certain musicians, we are already categorized. Like if you listen to Drake, you've got this certain image that is given to you. If you listen to Tupac, there's a certain image that is already attributed to you. If you listen to Michael Jackson, there's another image that is attributed to you. And I'm not too sure if that is right.
I feel like it's
Uh,
wrong. How do you feel?
uh, let Million speak. Let me breathe in my pain for a little bit.
Me? How do I feel about the whole thing?
Yeah.
It can it can turn sour, but if you're following the right, if you believe that you're following the right person, then go ahead. But there are some people that you shouldn't follow, that you can like their music is all, but when it comes to forming the way you live around their music and how and the message they're putting out through their music, a lot of the times you shouldn't. Like, for example, rap culture nowadays, specifically rap culture has gotten a bit worse, I would say. um it's all about violence and drugs and all that stuff, and it's like, these kids are listening to it and they're like, they want to start joining gangs and they want to start doing stuff that they hear their favorite artist is doing, and it's like, there does have to be some sort of separation sometimes, because it can, like I said before, it can turn sour, and it can be a bad thing, but it could also be a good thing. Like what I said about J. Cole. I'm gonna keep bringing him up, but J. Cole, a lot of his songs have good messages. Oh, sorry, good messages, and they speak highly about his life and how he moved through things. And like Caleb was saying, I can relate to that. I can relate to things that he's gone through and stuff like that. And it's like, if I can't relate already, why should I put myself in a situation where I should force myself to relate? And that's what happens to a lot of rap music. And these kids, they can't relate, but they want to, so they put themselves in these situations where it's like, they're listening to a person that they barely even know at the same time. They just know their music and they know that, oh, they did this drug, must be cool. Let me do that too,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh, oh man, yeah, it's funny that you speak of that, and thank you for bringing that up. It leads us very smoothly into our next segment, where we discuss, impact music is having on the society, especially rap culture. And now that I think about it, musicians have, just like any other business, they have a corporate social responsibility to the community. Um, CSR is basically the giving back that companies have to give. Since you're selling, you're making all this money. What's your influence on the community? What are you giving back to the community? And for musicians, I think there's that power that they need to give back to the community, because they are a sort of influence. They are a very significant influence to our kids growing up, to young adults, to even older people, to babies. They're an influence to anybody. And do you think that it's right for musicians to propagate, especially with rap culture, as you mentioned? Do you think it's right for musicians to propagate this type of gang related lyrics, all the cursing, all the name calling for women? Do you think it's right? What do you think, Caleb?
Definitely it's definitely a touchy subject. When it comes to women, it's a different case. It's kind of it's the real it's what really goes on, and that's a kind of a part of rap culture, just you getting off how you feel and just displaying the real. When we talk about certain artists, more so with the gangs and the guns and killing and stuff like that. We have to realize that some of these artists are still in real life. Like, let's go and talk about King Von, O Block, Chicago. They've been having, a history in Chicago with murders and rappers, rappers blowing up and then getting killed for a long time right now. And King Von was the most memorable person. But we have to understand that it's still real life, even though he makes millions of dollars. He's a big rapper now. He's
Mm-hmm.
still real life. He still comes from that structure. You know what I'm saying? So he still has that mentality, and it's kind of hard to shake that out of rappers. And when you got to look over your back in your hometown, and then you getting real money, and you got people hating all around the world. Now you can't even go nowhere safe because you still gotta look over your back to see who really hating on you like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have to, we as fans and as spectators, we have to remind ourselves that it's still real life. And we also have, as fans and as the media, because I feel like everyone's the media. We all are, the media. We all put out something and promote something. We have to stop instigating beefs. Because when we instigate beefs, these rappers feel they have to prove a point to be what they are already. That's the reason we get rich, to get out of what we had to do. So I think,
you brought up two important points that I will touch on. The getting rich, and the other point that you mentioned about putting out the energies out there. But first, let's hear from Million.
What are you gonna say?
What do you think about the musicians? The question I asked earlier about musicians putting out all these lyrics, all these songs that deal with gangs, name calling, cursing, and all that, and it's not a rehabilitative form of lyrics; it's actually propagation.
Right. Well, going back to what Caleb said, it is real life. And like, especially, I'm gonna keep referring to the youth because they're more susceptible to listening to this music and sort of take, like you said, building their life based on this music. But we have to realize that it is real life. These people are going through real things that are problems. And these kids and these young people, they see it as a fantasy, which is it's not what that is. It's not at all a fantasy. It's not something that we should be able to chase, and it's so it's kind of scary in a way because that type of influence is never going to go away. Music is always here to stay, like we said earlier on. It's here to stay, and that influence from music is also here to stay. And just trying to find that divide between what we should follow and not is very important, and that's sort of where a lot of youth kind of lose their way sometimes. And I know people would argue that music has nothing to do with it, but music does have, it does play, even if it doesn't play a huge role, it does play some role in building these people's lives and building the way they structure themselves and how they walk about their lives, and like I said before, it's kind of scary for the youth and people my age. It's just the things I see people do and what they say. I'm baffled at it, and I'm the same age as them. And it's like, well, how did I go through life differently?
That's an interesting proposition to be at when this story is a part of the musician's life. The gang life is part of the musician's life. All this crime thing, the gang banging, it's all part of their life, and that's all they know. And especially with rap culture, it's now become, at least in my opinion, this environment where people just come to say, oh, I'm better than you, you can't do the stuff like I can do, I'm richer than you, I got more swag than you, I got more money than you. And it's, yes, music, even in a lot of communities, the Maori, the traditional Africans, song circles, there was that competition where you proved that you're better than the other person. But then I don't think it got to this level, because I believe where we're at right now is in the toxicity zone, where this competition is not at all fruitful. It's just propagating war and hatred. Like Caleb mentioned earlier on, that it's a show of wanting to be rich, and proving that you're rich. But then we give off, at least the musicians give off, this idea of richness that is not true. Richness is not about the kind of money that you have, the number of girls that you have, the type of cars that you have, or the type of blings that you have. It's not about that. Richness is about the amount of smiles that you've put on people's faces, the amount of kindness that you've spread out in the world, the amount of impact that you've had in the world, and money is just a reward for it. And like Million mentioned, I think it's important for musicians, or even the people who are listening to the songs, to be very aware of the kind of stuff that you're letting in, because what you let in, what you listen to, what you see, and what you think basically becomes you. And if at the end of the day we're only listening to music that drains us, music that is only about gang wars, then that's who we're gonna become at the end of the day, because that's all we've been feeding ourselves with.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, you definitely have like an amazing point with that, because it happens to a lot of us. We start listening to the gang heavy music at a young age, and then somehow, some way, your friend grows into that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks to see, but sometimes, and a lot of the time, the music has a heavy influence, because we got to remember, some kids don't have anybody to go home to and tell them anything about life. They're going to the music for game. They're going to the music for guidance. So the music is all they know, and basically that turns into all what that musician went through, and they gotta damn near sadly go through the same thing just to get the bigger picture and learn the lesson of life. That's what you call it.
That's a beautiful point, and I think it also stretches out into the beauty and the importance of listening to a wide variety of music. Having a wide array of songs where you're not just limited to that which you grew up with, but then you also know that there's this meditative music, there's this music for love, there's this music for this and that and this and that, so that you're not limited to that one thinking. Once you branch out and start listening to other things, for example, I've noticed that quite a lot of people who listen to rap hardly listen to stuff like classical music or jazz, or even country. And I think it's an important balance to have, where you fuse all these genres and just listen to them, not for the sake of whether you love the music or not, but to filter out. Someone once said, too much of anything is poison. And that's true, even with music. Too much of one thing is poisonous.
That's a good point. That's a great point. Too much of certain music, you get used to it. And it does kind of, like I said, music is a mood changer and a mood director. So, like, with that point being said right there, too much of one type of music, it just lock you in that mode. And it takes 30 days to develop a new habit. So I definitely believe in that.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the music segment. Again, listen to many genres of music. Don't limit yourself to one thing, because that's the only way you'll grow. When I was a kid, my mom used to sing a small song for us, and how did it go? It was, eat your music and sing every day. Sing every day, sing every day. Eat your music and sing every day if you want to grow. So basically, the point is eat the right kind of music if you want to grow. And that's what I'll leave you with today. All right, now we step into segment 2 for today, where today we celebrate another young millennial who is doing wonders in the world. And today's celebration is none other than a young Kenyan who's also from the same, who's grew up in the same country as me. I met Alex Mativo, that's his name, Alex Mativo. I met Alex Mativo a while back, I think it was 2 years ago, at the start of his company. He's the CEO of eLab. So eLab is this company that recycles electronic waste and converts it into fashion items. So earrings, necklaces, all this fancy bags, all from electronic waste, you know, old computers, old phones, old cartridges for whatever equipment that you have. And I think that is such a brilliant idea. He was recognized for this idea by the Queen of England. He is a young Queen's leader. He got the award for that. And he's been all over the world working with Bill Clinton. You know, he's worked with our first Black president. He's been all over doing wonders. And he just recently started his second company, which is Nanasi. And Nanasi connects, it creates a pathway for businesses to get to customers very smoothly without all the transaction and contract issues that usually come in between, especially for consultant type businesses and financial type businesses. Alex is 26, which makes him a perfect model for all young men and young women in the world. Way to go, Alex.
Yeah, hell yeah. Way to go, Alex. That's what's up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even.
Yeah, my boy. Shout out Alex, man. Shout out Alex.
Shout out to Alex. All right, listeners, we're approaching the inevitable end of this episode. We hope you had a smooth ride here on the Black Millennial Podcast. And all I gotta say is I had a bomb time. I had a great time. How about you guys?
Oh yeah,
Man, I had a blast.
fun.
Uh-huh. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, see you next time where we'll take you on another trip through the stars and around the galaxy. Stay frosty.